Hey guys, it's Spider Pig here, and today we're going to talk about some reviews. Now, I'm going to make another separate video for the smaller stuff that I reviewed yesterday at the field day, but today we're going to talk about the Epson Moverio BT-300 glasses. Now, as you know, if you watch my channel at all, I love new technology. When the Oculus came out with the Developer Kit 2, I had that. Anything that will make my flight simulator experience better, I will jump on, even though it's sketchy sometimes, but you know, I will test it out to see if it works. I love new technology, and I love anything that makes my either flight simulator experience nicer, my gaming experience nicer, or my drone experience nicer. And in this case, the Epson Moverio BT-300 fits into the drone experience nicer. So, my friend Tony, that I fly with quite often, he's the one that has the Inspire 2. He got a set of these for testing from Epson, and these are the pre-release versions, so not everything's 100% done with them. This is the kind of the version they give to people to test out and get the reviews about it and see what they feel. So he got this, and he doesn't do video stuff as much as I do, so he said, hey, come fly with me, let's test them out, let's give it our opinion. Now, the version he got is the drone edition, which comes with the glasses itself and a couple extra things. It comes with a mount for the Mavic and the Inspire and the Phantom, and it also comes with these darker shades, Rochester shades, which we'll talk about in the video at some point. And the glasses themselves do come with shades as well, which aren't as dark, but they're pretty nice as well. So basically what these glasses are is called augmented reality. Now, if you ever played Pokemon Go, you might be familiar with augmented reality. And what augmented reality does is it tries to take something that's real in front of you and place an object in front of it to give you information. In case of Pokemon Go, you're looking at, your living room, and there's a Pokemon there and you're trying to catch them, and that's what augmented reality is. So Tony set it up. Tony did the first flight, and we took off, and he was flying around and just kind of testing it out. He liked it a lot. Now, the nice thing is he was using the Rochester shades, which are a little bit darker, and it was no clouds during the day, so there's direct sunlight, and he was able to look in the sun, no problem whatsoever. And you can see in the footage in a second here that he was able to do that. So today we're going to be looking at these Epson Moverio BT-300, and we're going to try to fly them here with the Mavic Pro. Now, we have these Rochester shades on as well, just to make sure that we can see everything okay. And now, as far as the unit goes, it's basically an augmented reality glass, and it connects to an Android device that we've mounted here on the controller, and we're going to go ahead and try and fly it. See how it flies. Don't.
Like I was saying, it looks like with these Rochester shades on that come with the drone edition set, I'm looking directly up in the sun, and it's not bad. And much better even looking the opposite of the sun. There's direct sunlight out today.
It is. It is pretty windy too. It's about 10 mile per hour wind as well. Is it just a DJI version of the app, right?
The DJI Go 4.0 version.
Okay.
That, because this was a pre-release, I actually had to sideload it, the APK.
Okay.
Once it's released, it's supposed to be preloaded.
Yeah. Okay. And the glasses itself. So you're using the controller here.
It has a touchpad.
Touchpad.
Takes a little bit of getting used to. I guess if you've ever used a laptop trackpad, it's similar. Which I hate laptop trackpads, but
there we go. So now we're gonna. So he's gonna try to keep an eye on the whole thing the whole time as it's flying.
Pretty neat. Takes a little bit of getting used to, because you're viewing. I can see the Mavic in the air through the actual app.
Right.
Yeah, and if you tilt your head a little to the left or to the right, then it's actually, I find a little better that way.
Okay.
Because then I can peer to the left and see what the FPV is seeing, and then actually see the Mavic in the sky. It's I like it much better. I have the Cinemizer goggles that I hook up via my my Nivea Shield, and I like it much better than that because the goggles make me feel closed in.
Right.
And with this, you don't have that sensation. Now I'm flying directly into the sun and looking up in the sun with these glasses,
Right.
and I'm not having a problem at all. Though the old Mavic problem of the sun being recognized as an obstacle, but that's not
those-
because of the glasses.
Yeah.
I'm not noticing any dramatic video lag yet. Yeah, I am. Yeah.
After a couple minutes of flying, he did notice that the latency between the image and what was on the drone was a little bit off. Now, latency has been an issue that plagued this Epson Moverio in the past, so we wanted to see maybe it was something our fault. Both me and Tony are not Android people, so we figured maybe it was something we did incorrectly. So we brought the Mavic down and we rebooted everything, and we did notice that we had a couple extra apps open. I guess he clicked on the DJI Go app a couple too many times, and it was open too many times. Once we cleared that issue, the latency issue disappeared, and he was able to fly.
The issue the first time was I must have double clicked. I'm not used to Android, so I must have double clicked the Go app too many times. It looked like I had at least 2 versions running in the background, thinking that may have cleared up what I was seeing with lag. Obviously, using those resources would have caused that.
And again, it is cold out here.
Much better.
Okay.
Yeah. So let me get up. Let me get up a little higher.
And you're able to keep a visual on it without a problem?
Not a problem at all. And we're, like I stated earlier, we're in direct sunlight.
Yeah.
And with these shades on, not a hindrance in the least. No lag whatsoever. Very cool experience. They feel comfortable on my face. Very nice. I'm going to do a return to home.
All right.
And let Roy, the cameraman, get his opinion on it.
You know, we do have landing pads for you to land on.
Now, for me, I went into this thing going to compare it to the VR experience because I like to fly VR. Tony has phone VR. He's not a big fan of it, so you know he would prefer these kind of glasses, the method with these kind of glasses. So I flew it.
All right, so I'm going to be testing out these glasses here. Now, something of note, I can't put it up all the way to my face like I normally would. I have to just move down a little bit on my nose to be able to see the image fine. Now, I can see okay, as far as that side. It is kind of centered pretty well in my screen. So I'm going to take off real quickly and kind of see a little close at the Mavic. Now, over here, the Mavic is right in front of me. It is kind of blocked by the screen, but I can see pretty well. So I want to see if I can do it. I'm going to actually just try to get a low shot. This is what I use VR for. I'm like down here, and then I would scroll down to get a nice shot of everybody here. I find that it's a little hard to see the Mavic. Yeah, but let me try and get a little higher. Take a look. Okay, looking up, it is a little easier to see the Mavic. That's pretty cool.
What are your first thoughts, Roy?
it's not as big as I expected the screen to be. So I think if the screen was a little bigger, because in the VR goggles, which is what I'm used to, the screen is quite a bit bigger, and I'm closer to it, and I think that does make a difference. But the fact that I can actually see the Mavic itself is nice. Although, because of the shades being dark and the Mavic itself being dark, I think it's a little harder to see the Mavic at this point. I think in normal weather, I think would be without the shades, I think would be a little better. But overall, that is pretty cool.
We could possibly try, now the shades that are still on that are the Rochester optical shades that are going to be coming with the
Right.
kit. There are shades that come with the glasses, I guess you can call them OEM shades, that aren't as dark. I guess we could possibly try landing it and putting those other shades on and seeing if that, you know, maybe the Rochester shades are too dark.
It could be, because like right now, the Mavic's right in front of me. The Mavic itself is dark. I actually see the lights on the Mavic better than I see the Mavic itself. So, you know, there is that aspect to it. Let me try landing it just from, you know,
Okay.
with the goggles on. And unlike you, I'm going to try to land on the actual pad.
Well,
Yeah, see, I'm taking down the brightness. It doesn't seem to be. I kind of like the brightness a little higher because actually I can see the screen better, but I can't see the thing. Even taking it down, it doesn't seem to make the. It doesn't seem to make it better to see the drone. When it's straight at me, it's a little more difficult to focus my eyes on it. But I do see the lights, and I'm just going to use the lights to see if I can land.
are you noticing any lag, Roy? Well, you're picking up the obstacle avoidance now.
Yeah. No, actually, there's no noticeable lag. So, you know, I'm kind of using my fingers and doing a whole bunch of different things, and I can see it perfectly well. So, I won't say there's any lag. Here's an interesting trick. When it's flying, I think it actually is better if I keep the glasses a little low. I can actually look up using my normal sight to see the drone and look down just a little bit to see the actual screen. So
That's kind of what I was doing, and when I was flying into it, I was trying to look through the app,
right,
look around the app, and then just kind of like looking up, maybe outside of the glasses,
Right.
which gives you the VLOS. Is that low battery?
I think compared to VR, I kind of like VR more because it's closer to my eyes. But I definitely can see some advantages with this. But again, it's tricky to keep the glasses on and just look through the glasses the whole time. I think it's better to keep the glasses a little low and just look out normally to see the drone, and then look just quicker down to see the screen. So you're not looking down this way to see the screen, you're just looking with your eyes down. So there's some advantages to it.
Now, it took me a while to kind of get used to it, because when you put it on your face, it doesn't, like normally when your glasses, you're pushing them all the way back. With this one, you have to kind of push it a little bit lower to actually be able to see the display. And the display basically feels like there's a TV right in front of you. It's taking about this much room. Now, compared to VR, it feels like it's this big, where this feels like it's this big and it's out here. So you can see on the outside, you can see the surrounding around you, and it is somewhat opaque. You can, yeah, it is somewhat opaque, so you can see through it. The problem is, because it kind of uses a dark screen for it, the Mavic, which is dark, it's a black drone, was hard to see when it was directly in front of you. Now, the one thing I could see was the lights on it. Now, when I usually fly, and I record, so my lights would be off, so it'd be really hard for me to see it. We weren't recording with the Mavic, so the red lights were still on, and actually I was able to both land it and take off without a problem. But again, it was like I was looking, and I was having a hard time looking through the image, the DJI Go app image, to see the Mavic. And that was my biggest concern at that point. By the end, I did figure out that if you kind of put the glasses a little further down, you can actually use your eyes above the glasses to see the drone, and then if you needed to use the camera app, you could just kind of look down a little bit, as opposed to having to look down this way. So that was kind of my experience. It was fun to fly with. It was very cool to kind of experience. I did use the controller to kind of change the brightness, because we figured maybe if we turned on the brightness, it might help a little bit with seeing through it. It did not. But again, for pre-release technology, it is pretty cool, and I think there's nothing that can't be fixed with a good software update here. So that's kind of what I felt about it. So after a day of thinking about it, and I definitely agree with what I said yesterday about having a hard time seeing it, and I was trying to think of what could be done to fix this issue. So here's what I came up with, and Epson, if you're listening, pay close attention. What I would like to see from this app is, when you're in it initially, I would like to see just kind of a HUD view that's not bothering me at all. So I'd be able to see in front of me without obstruction, and just have like sort of a HUD view with my altitude, my speed, and my heading, and maybe some information at the bottom, like whether it's recording, how many satellites I have, and maybe some other information like battery power. And that way I have an unobstructed view to my drone, and I can fly without a problem. Secondly, I think if you work with the DJI app, and you work with the DJI itself, you might be able to create it so, like, if you hit a customize button, it'll bring up the actual camera image. Like, instead of seeing the HUD view, you'll see the camera image, and then you can control it like that. And I think the advantage of that is you only basically get the camera image when you want it, instead of having it up there all the time. And that way you can kind of fly the drone to where you need it, bring up the camera view, get the shot you want, take the camera view off, and just kind of fly your drone back without a problem. The third thing I think is kind of important, is that you'd be able to set the opacity of the image itself. That way you could turn it down so you could see better through it, and it doesn't disturb you as much. I think that would be really crucial as well. So the three things again is have an option to not see the camera view until you really want it. Have it be able to use the customize button to bring that up, and then be able to change the opacity on it, so you can bring it to whatever desired level you want, so you can actually still see your drone and still see the camera view as well. I think, overall, there's nothing that can't be fixed with a good software update on this thing. Hardware-wise, it's a great hardware. It's great hardware, nothing wrong with it. I think the software needs to kind of catch up to the hardware part of it. Currently, I believe it costs about $800. I'm not sure how much the drone edition will cost, but it's definitely a cool product, and I definitely would like to see it used in other methods besides drone flying. Overall, it's a neat little product, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they do in the next kind of software updates, and hopefully they'll take my suggestions and improve on what I asked them to. And if I get the chance to play with any updated versions, I will let you know. I hope you enjoyed the review. Thanks, guys.